Greetings Terrarians, Khaios here. Earlier today I was going through some of my old screenshots and just archiving things, organizing some folders, and I came across this old Vineyard build that I did a couple years ago for Super Terraria World, and I got to thinking that it might be fun to do something similar for my YouTube channel, but actually expand on it. And so I kind of just wanted to build something like Tuscany-inspired Vineyard build. So that's what I'm gonna go ahead and time-lapse today. So I started off in Timelapse just making a mound of dirt to kind of give me a platform to build on. I generated a few worlds, didn't see anything that I really liked. I know that I wanted to build this onto a hillside, and so after a few attempts of not really finding a nice hill to start off on, I decided to just give myself a hill in Timelapse. So in terms of materials, I'm going with stucco and sandstone brick for the walls. I tried to do something in orange because I've seen some kind of Tuscan vineyards with an orange look on their stucco. Decided to go with the more traditional yellow look, and I'm just experimenting with materials now. I know that I want to have the red roof, so I'm going to leave that as is. And I know that white accents look quite nice against the yellow. And so I'm kind of just doing this little bell tower segment up top first before I move on to the rest of the building itself. So I'm making a spiral staircase. Usually I prefer to do these around an odd number of spaces, but I made the tower an even number without actually thinking about it. So it's kind of awkward looking in the middle. It's not exactly what I prefer, but I don't think it's too bad. So I'm just blending in some red brick in with the yellow stucco, and I'm actuating it. I'm also throwing in some red brick walls, and I'm kind of just giving that kind of peeling stucco look that you see with some older Italian looking buildings. I decided that the red wasn't doing it for me against the yellow. A little bit too much red with the red roof, so I went ahead and painted the bricks brown. And the second half of the building itself, I wanted it to be made out of stone with some wooden accents. So I'm going with mudstone, and I've painted it gray, and I'm blending different types of dungeon walls, the kinds that you would find naturally spawning in the dungeon, and I'm painting them gray as well. And if you're wondering why I haven't filled in the false foundation until just now, I was waiting for the grass to grow a bit. So I have these patio sections that I knew I wanted to have with a bunch of foliage hanging off of them. They're not actually meant to be the grapevines, but I do notice that you see a lot of vines and just foliage growing on top of these older buildings, and I thought it'd be nice to incorporate that into the build. And here I'm just filling a little pond area in. I'm lining the water segments with brown painted clay so that grass doesn't grow in it, because I don't prefer grass to be in my ponds. And then I'm gonna carve in a cave area and build a tiny little fishing dock on the edge. And I'm also going to build a wine cellar underneath the winery building. Just something that I knew that I wanted the entire time, which is why I built this up on a cliff face. And similar to how I give a false foundation under the build above, I decided to do something similar around the little cavern that the wine cellar was being built into. So we have the cavern that's shaped around, but I also have a foundation supporting the room itself. I decided to go with a stone look for the walls in the wine cellar just because I'm going to be using some wood for the kegs and the wine casks and what have you, and I wanted them to pop, and since they're going to be brown, I thought that putting them against gray would look best. And I do use the staircase background door where you have gray steps leading to black, leading to shadow painted steps, just to kind of give it an appearance that it's going up into the darkness. And for the wine casks, I did the same technique that I did with my foundations video, where I have ebonwood bathtubs acting as large barrels. And then I put some kegs around and some normal barrels and some crates just to fill in the wine cellar itself. So here I wanted to have a tree planter kind of on the patio area, and instead of doing my normal kind of tree, I decided to try and go for something that you might actually see in Tuscany. I'm not sure exactly what the tree's called because I'm not really knowledgeable on that sort of thing, but I'm just trying to emulate the kind of tree that you would see. Now here I'm just shaping out the hill where I'm going to be placing the vine racks for the vineyard. Now in hindsight, I probably should have shaped the hill a little bit differently because I didn't give myself a whole lot of room to place leaves. I wanted to be able to actually walk under these in case I decide to make the build available for download. And because of that, there's not a whole lot of room for the leaves, and in turn, not a whole lot of room for what will be the quote-unquote grapes. So they're smaller than I'd like, but I still think they turned out quite nice. So to have the vine branch itself, I decided to go with living mahogany wood, painted brown and actuated. The leaves are just normal leaf wand, and the background leaves are the living leaf wall, and the grapes are actually just the blueberry dye plant. So this little area that I'm building right now is just something I thought might be fun. It's one of those wine presses where you get in, you stomp on it. And so I have some pearlwood bathtubs up top, and in the background I placed some purple painted living leaf wall to kind of emulate a pile of grapes. And that's gonna do it for the build. I'm gonna go ahead and scroll and show you the final appearance of everything. I hope you enjoyed the build. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please be sure to leave a comment and a like and hit the subscribe button. If you are already subscribed and you're not getting notifications on my builds, be sure to hit the bell so you get notifications every time I post them. I'm shooting for 3 videos a week right now, and so far so good. Thank you all very much for watching. I'll catch you all later. Happy building.